Da sind wir, im Raum von Jigoku. 3. November, SS Grouse, First Class Cabin Number 2. Good gracious. It would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly. Those clothes on the floor there, they are Shishiro's without question. Well, it seems we are just a little too late. Yes, by about 2 hours. Still, whilst we are here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may well be 2 hours worth of clues to find in here. But that burly crewman may return at any moment, Sholmes. Indeed, he may. Which makes this all the more thrilling. Okay, dann untersuchen wir mal. Der Schrank. According to the report I was given, Naruhodo was concealing himself in Azogi's wardrobe. Indeed he was, and it was of similar size to this one. Ah, you must climb inside yourself, my dear fellow. What? Whatever for? It was the site of my first fateful meeting with Mr. Naruhodo. You can experience the moment for yourself now, complete with my dramatic rhetoric. Come along now, in you go. This will only take a moment. Really, Sholmes, surely you can just tell me what you said. Well, I uttered some brilliant remark and opened the wardrobe to reveal the stowaway murderer. I think I just read about it in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Okay. What haben wir hier? Quite the exquisite glass, I must say. See here, how it... Is something wrong, Sholmes? You suddenly trailed off. Ice, Mikotoba, ice! What opulence the first-class passengers enjoy. Chilled drinks. Pardon? Could it be that the steamship is equipped with an electrically refrigerated cold room, do you think? Well, it is a luxury liner after all. They have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish produce as well as ice. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world. Suddenly, Mikotoba, the sight of you is making my mouth water. I haven't taken on the flavor of the food I ate, you know? Damn. Das ist einfach der Beweis, dass hier ein großer Kühlschrank an Bord ist, was dafür sprechen würde, dass Gregson hier gestorben ist. So, was ist das hier? This is the waste paper basket, look. And there's still rubbish inside. Indeed. Then let us pry. I've discovered recently I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' waste paper baskets. I sincerely hope only for your work. Ah! Here we have a notice issued to passengers from 3 days ago. 3 days ago? The night before we arrived in London then. When I was still aboard myself. Evacuation drill notice. 31st October. Okay. Ich konnte nicht alles so schnell lesen. Ah yes, there was an evacuation drill. I remember now. For our safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eyes of the crew. So it was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once. The evacuation drill itinerary was been entered into the court record. A notice about a practice evacuation to be carried out by the crew of the SS Grouse the night before the ship arrived in Dover. It was found in Judge Jigoku's cabin. Okay, also in derselben Nacht wurde hier evakuiert scheinbar. Aber wir können den Court Record nicht aufrufen, okay. Was ist das hier? There's a speaking tube here. Look, there has been stoppered with some cloth. So the voices of the crewmen on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose. Or indeed, so that the voices in this cabin aren't heard elsewhere. Schlau. Could something have happened in here that was for no one else's ears, do you think? Either that, or it could be to prevent snakes from entering. That's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it? Die Schlangen, die keine Schlange war. Was ist das hier? These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Wir erinnern uns. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and or travel cases. Die ist neu, die Regel. I feel the rules have increased since I last read them. Probably just my imagination. What about the fact that they are not straight on the wall? Doesn't that strike you? You may be right. Probably just your imagination though. A trifle. And you know what I always say, Mikotopa. There's nothing important about trifles. It's probably just my imagination, but I think that might be slightly off. Okay. Trifle war... Trifle. Kleinigkeit, Bagatelle. Okay. Die Klamotten hier. That's a substantial heap of clothes on the floor. An overcoat, shirts, a dressing gown, momohiki work trousers, a tansu robe, a haramaki waistband. Clearly the clothing of a Japanese man. And clearly, Japanese men are unaccustomed to the culture of the wardrobe. It looks to me as if they've been thrown in a heap like that in something of a hurry. Indeed, you could help yourself to a Japanese man's shirt, perhaps. I'm sure you made mention of packing too few. I'd very likely drown in one of Sashiro's shirts. No, I'll just buy any extras I need, I think. Oh Mann, okay. Hier haben wir eine Kiste. That's a very sizable trunk indeed. Sashiro is partially to all things large. It's partial, okay. And a rather clumsy fellow if he failed to notice he'd left it behind. Perhaps he left it on purpose. It's lighter than you might think, but still a hindrance to a speedy escape. Pity. It's locked, so we can't look inside. Surely 5 seconds from now the situation will be quite different though. Sadly not. It was as a 7-digit combination lock. And I'm not in a morose enough mood to work through all the combinations at present. Okay, Mr. Jones. Dann haben wir hier das Bücherregal. Plenty of reading material to keep passengers occupied on the long sea voyages. I found the mixture of classic literature and easy reading to be most satisfactory, I must say. Whoever stocked this bookcase was a hopeless heretic. There's no copy of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, my dear fellows. I'm afraid it's just me. But no, you're quite right. More blasphemous than overlooking the Bible. I shall leave a copy behind. I just happen to have one with me. You're a true missionary of the Church of Great Detectives, aren't you? Okay, and was ist das hier? The wall is a slightly different color this here, do you see? Indeed, what you have observed arises when a frame that has been hanging for some time is removed. Also wahrscheinlich die Rules of Passage, oder? Weil die hängen ja auf der SS Boja, hängen die ja genau da. Perhaps your friend is an art thief. Now, there's a bold deduction worthy of a great detective, I'm sure. He may very well be the elusive thief who has been plaguing France's galleries of late. I think perhaps we should focus our attentions elsewhere, Jones, don't you? Is that our outline on the wall? I feel as though I might have spotted something of a similar shape and size elsewhere. Uh-oh. You are still here! Ah, Abel Seaman Stroganoff, hello again. I was beginning to think you'd never materialize. Eh? You are waiting for me. Of course, I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity far sooner. I was in trouble with Captain because of trick you played before. Poor innocent chicken. It is all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Get off, now. Of course, we shall disembark presently, my dear fellow. But first, There's something that must be done. What are you talking about? Why, naturally. The debunking of your deceit and the bearing of the truth. Kakoi! I'm afraid. I see through your lies. I see through your lies. For one thing, die Musik. Mr. Jigoku has not yet left this vessel at all. Ah! And for another, my dear Seaman Stroganoff. You know exactly where the man is, even as we speak, don't you? How can you... Good gracious, Sholmes. You mean, you've worked it out? All of it? It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less. Oh my god, da werde ich schon wieder Gänsehaut. So, would you care to join me for a dance? Of my inimitable logic and reasoning? Alter, das wird wahrscheinlich das letzte sein, der letzte Dance of Deduction, den wir sehen werden. Nothing would please me more. What is this? We have but minutes until the vessel puts to sea. No games now. Geil. Time is of essence. Mr. Stroganoff, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us that Jigoku left the ship some 2 hours ago, but die Musik, Junge. Da! That is what I said. Sadly, that was a rather clumsy lie. You see, there's something in this room that quite clearly contradicts it. What? Ah, yes, of course. I see you've noted it too, Mikotoba. Then please, do take the lead. What in this cabin shows the impossibility of Jigoku having disembarked 2 hours ago? Let's see what the last 3 years have done to your observation skills, Mikotoba. It's been 10 years since we last did this, Sholmes, not 3. Why, of course it has. Quiet. Now, all the clues are here in this cabin for your eyes to see. But as I always say, you must not merely look, but observe. Observe, and the answer becomes clear. So, impress me. I think I can manage that. What in this cabin shows the impossibility of Jigoku having disembarked 2 hours ago? Okay. Das Eis, oder nicht?
Take that!
Weil ich ja noch... Geil! Geil! Perhaps you should have cleared away that glass. How curious that the ice shouldn't have made it despite it being abandoned 2 hours ago. Ah! It would appear that the man was here in this very cabin until a moment before our arrival. With a swell-chilled glass in hand. Get your mind off the refreshments, Sholmes. One might even conclude that somebody informed him of our boarding. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Stroganoff? But why would Sashiro run from us? Before we consider that question, allow me to confirm one small matter. Would I be correct in saying that these first-class cabins of the SS Grouse are the same ones in which you and Mr. Jigoku were accommodated on your voyage from Japan? Ah, that's right, they are. I was in the cabin next door and Sashiro was, yes, 50 days in this very cabin during our voyage, as I suspected. For you see, there are traces in this cabin of a dark secret that Mr. Jigoku had to hide. What traces? I know nothing about this. Ah, this is news to you, is it, Mr. Stroganoff? Sholmes, what exactly are you getting at? As I said, there are traces in this cabin of some nefarious activity. Nefarious? Nefarious. Schändlich, okay. Something that appears out of place, which I'm quite sure won't have escaped your notice. Something out of place in here. That's the key to this, Mikotoba. The remnants of the dark deeds that took place in here are being masked by something quite incongruous. I must say, I didn't foresee ever doing this dance of deduction with you again, Mikotoba. No, quiet, but life is full of unexpected twists and turns, as we well know. Now then, let's see if I can't uncover the truth here. Yes, you have the floor, my dear fellow. Okay, the remnants of the dark deeds that took place in here are being masked by something quite incongruous. Die Rules of Passage, natürlich, weil da ist normalerweise nichts.
Take that!
It's the Rules of Passage in this frame here. They are obviously out of place. Da ist mal wirklich ein Tanz, den aufführt da. Das ist mal wirklich ein Tanz. The way they are hanging crooked on the wall, as if they were put here in a hurry. Yes, as I'm sure you've already concluded. The frame was originally over here. The shape and size are a perfect match. Und ausnahmsweise macht Jones mal keinen Quatsch hier. Ausnahmsweise. Da, you are right. When did train move? Hardly the most observant of crewmen are you, Mr. Stroganoff. I would think your captain is quite justified in having his reservations about your reliability. Gah! Oh dear, that really seemed to touch a nerve. So, Mikotoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall? That looks like a bullet hole. Da haben wir unser Einschussloch. What? Who has been shooting walls? I see, the projector has been removed. Clearly the careful occupant of this room has already disposed of it. Now then, Mr. Stroganoff. Ah! I have the distinct impression that you're attempting to shield said occupant. I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I try to protect Eastern Stranger? Eastern Stranger, this is Kazuma. Ah, so we are talking about the same man, I see. Good. I'm sure we can get to the bottom of this in no time, aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains the reason why you are lying for the man. Yes, you've been told to keep us up this pretense as clearly shown by... I really don't know how to approach this one, Jones. Ah, my dear Mikotoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subject from every angle. And I'm quite sure that you'll see it. In fact, I put the Vega on it. So I'm glad to the fellow from our sides. Well, I can certainly do that. You've been told to keep up this pretense as clearly shown by... Oh, was ist das? Geld, Word of Banknotes. Wahrscheinlich, ne?
Take that!
It's almost too obvious for words. Quiet, the universal language of the world. Money. Ah! And I'd wager that the Eastern fellow in question is Seishiro Jigoku, yes. Gah! Okay, es ist doch nicht Kazuma, ich dachte jetzt Seishiro Jigoku. So I presume you realize what this means. There are clear signs that a crime has been committed in this cabin. And the way you're going, sir, you find yourself accused of being an accomplice. But... I believe you know, Mr. Stroganoff. You know where Mr. Jigoku is hiding at this precise moment in time. As always, Mikotoba, in matters of deduction, the furtive glance is your unfaltering ally. Yes, I think you're onto something here, Jones. You found the chink in this burly fellow's armor. We need only follow the man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding. The slighter flicker of the pupils, a minutely delayed blink. Nothing escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible. You could hardly call this barely perceptible, Sholmes. The man's turned his entire head. It's not exactly what you described as a furtive glance, is it? It's almost too obvious. We shall let your tapping toes decide, my dear fellow. Ja, wow. Was das wohl sein wird?
Take that!
Large Trunk natürlich. You turned immediately to look at this large trunk, didn't you? Ah! The truth is, Seishiro Jigoku was unable to escape from the ship in time, and is, at this very moment, doing his best to stifle his breath inside this trunk. If he still has a breath to take, I fear he may be running dangerously low on air. I imagine he didn't count on us making a nuisance of ourselves for quite so long. I think it would be in everyone's best interest for us to open the trunk as quickly as possible. But how can we? Are you forgetting about the combination lock? We don't know the 7-digit code. The combination lock can't be opened from inside the trunk. Therefore, there must have been an arrangement for somebody to open it after our departure. Of course. In short, before Jigoku hid himself inside the trunk, he must have told somebody the 7-digit number for the lock. As I'm sure you can confirm, Mr. Sorgenov. No! I know nothing about some combination code. Don't move a muscle, my good seaman. Oh, warte. S-H-O-L-M-E-S. 7. Und das ist ein 7-stelliger Code. Don't move a muscle, my good seaman. Huh? Now, Mikotoba, would you do the honors and open the trunk? How on earth do you expect me? It's a 7-digit number, remember. Quickly now, we have little time. Sholmes, warte. Wait. Warte. Sholmes. S-H-O-L-M. Nee. 3 ist M, würde ich mal sagen. Sholmes. Nee, 2 ist S. Warte, was ist dann? Warte. 5 ist Sholmes. Ist das Sholmes?
Take that!
Oh. Never mind. So it's refusing to open. Tell me, what number did you use? Well, to begin with, I thought I'd try my birthday. Your birthday? Interesting. Since as of today, with that effort guesswork, you're dead to me. As measured as ever in response, Sholmes. Okay. If we would only look in the right place, we could have. Answer would be staring in the face. Okay. 5, 4, 0, 1, 3, 6, 5. Ich mache mir mal ein Foto davon. Sholmes, okay. It's the right place. But if you're having a spot of bother, I always find standing on my head aids the cognitive process. Oh, auf dem Kopf, okay. Warte, dann drehen wir mal das Bild. Nein, Quatsch, nicht löschen. Drehen. Okay. Fünf. Mann, ich weiß nicht, was das... Ist das ein 0? 3? 3, 1 auf jeden Fall. Dann wieder eine 0. Dann eine 4. Wieder eine 5. Aber ich bin mir nicht sicher bei dieser 0 hier. Show. Ah, shit, ey. Soll das eine 0 sein? Das A ist die Frage. Guck mal, hier. Hier ist erste... Oh. Hier ist erste A. Da ist mein Gesicht. Hallo, Facecamception. Hier ist erste A, wenn man es umdreht. Soll das eine 0 sein oder nicht? Das ist die Frage. Oh Gott, ich probiere. Okay. Scheinbar nicht. No, it's refusing to open. Tell me, what number did you use? Well, to begin with I thought about birthday. Birthday, interesting. Also ich speichere mal kurz. Nicht, dass wir noch mehr verlieren. Investigation part 1, okay. If you would only look in the right place, Mikotoba, the answer would be staring in the face. The right place. If you're having to spot a bother, I always find standing on my head aids the cognitive process. Okay. Boah. Oder soll es eine 2 sein? Ja, stimmt! Natürlich, es ist eine 2. Mit so einem richtig fetten Bogen. Jetzt sieh's. Guck mal. Das ist eine 2. Mit ein bisschen Imagination ist es eine 2. Aber klar, natürlich. Okay. Aber ist die Goku dann schuldig? Weil da ist eine Kugel in... Da ist ein Kugelloch. Ist Jigoku dann der Mörder? That did it. It's open. You had to meddle, didn't you? Da ist er. Where are you, Jen? You found me now. Seshiro. Wait, ist der... Also er hätte ja ein Motiv, weil Gregson ihn verfolgt hat, aber... Why? I was really hoping, beyond hope, not to find you here, you know? But you're not entirely unsurprised, I take it. No, quiet. I just wish it were some other way. Well, are you ever going to introduce me? Ah, your reputation precedes you, Mr. Sholmes. I've read stories of many of your exploits. Excuse my manners, Sholmes. This is Mr. Jigoku, my old friend and traveling companion. The devil is in the details, Mikotoba. I believe you meant to say, your old friend and traveling companion. Hat er das nicht gesagt? Who made the cowardly decision to flee the country without a word to anyone when things turned sour. I see your reputation precedes me as well. What an honor. Stimmt, er ist verschwunden, als es rauskam, ne? Er ist verschwunden, als es rauskam, dass es Gregson war. Well, Seshiro, are you going to explain all this? You know it all by now, I imagine. What you didn't know, of course, is that 3 days ago, on the night before our arrival in Britain, an attempt was made on my life here on this very ship. By the Reaper of the Baby. Yes, I've since heard. Because you were once prosecuted by the Reaper, weren't you? 10 years ago now, mind you. And I had no idea at the time what a dangerous individual he was. Anyway, when we arrived in London to find Symposium was postponed until goodness knows when, it became all too apparent to me that I might very well be targeted again. So you decided to flee the capital, without saying a word to me about it. I'm afraid so, yes. Of course I realize now that I really ought to have confided in you. It's somewhat surprising, I must say. What is? Well, first-class cabins aboard luxury steamships are in very short supply. It's more than a little hard to believe that this one just happened to be available. So says the protagonist of some colorful short stories. Well, I don't care for your opinion. The cabin did just happen to be available, so I purchased a ticket, and here I am. I've just seen for myself the obvious remnants of that incident in this cabin. So you'd already purchased your return ticket before we even docked in Dover, had you? To prevent anyone else taking this cabin and seeing the evidence, is that it? Eugene, I have nothing to say to you. Well, in a mere 5 minutes, the ship will set off on its onward voyage and not make port again until Italy. I'm afraid we must insist that you disembark with us at once. You have no jurisdiction over my movement. We have this, Seshiro. Take it. What is it? It's a subpoena from the Old Bailey. You're a man of the law. You know what the ramifications of ignoring a document like this from the British courts would be. You came prepared then, Eugene. Damn, aber ist das gefälscht? Woher haben die das? Come on, let's go. One moment. What is it, Jones? Inside me is Jigoku's trunk. I found this rather fascinating trinket. Trinket? Was war Trinket nochmal? Trinket. Trinket. Schmuck. Ach so. Schmuck. What is that, Seshiro? I can't help you, I'm afraid. Some small component from something. But what? I have no idea. By the look on his face, I think he genuinely doesn't know. Well, let us pocket this as a small souvenir of our brief sojourn in France. The small component has been entered into the court record, a small machine part that Mr. Sholmes found in Judge Jigoku's cabin on the SS Grouse. Ich muss sagen, ich bin noch skeptisch. Tatsächlich, ob das wirklich der richtige Grund war. Für Jigoku wieder ins Schiff zu gehen. Was ist hier in dieser Kabine passiert? Well, young Naruhodo, I think we've done as much as we can, I'm afraid. The rest will be on the shoulders of you and your assistant. Okay, Dankeschön. 3rd November, 12:10 p.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Kazuma Asogi. I know you, and I know you wouldn't lie, but still, there's no doubt that you're holding something back, that you know more than you're saying. During the past 30 minutes while this court was adjourned, all possible efforts were expended. But sadly, Mr. Jigoku's whereabouts could not be ascertained. We must accept the unfortunate conclusion that the Reaper has already done the deed. Das stimmt nicht. There's no sense in wasting any more of the court's time. The prosecution calls for an immediate verdict.
Objection!
No, the trial cannot end now. You're a Japanese man, Ryunosuke. You should know when to lay down your sword. And you should know never to presume when the battle is won. The court has already been presented with all the evidence and heard all relevant testimony. And there can only be one conclusion, that the accused is guilty. All relevant testimony? Far from it. There's still a crucial witness, from whom the court is yet to hear a single word of testimony. In that case, call your witness to the stand at once, counsel. Yes, my lord. Tomorrow, if possible. The witness is already on his way and scheduled to arrive tomorrow. Who on earth is this crucial witness? Seishiro Jigoku. The very man allegedly murdered by the Reaper. Judge Jigoku! You found him! But the investigations of every policing resource in the capital suggest that Jigoku is already dead. How in the name of God did you find the man? He was located in France during the recess, at the port of Dunkirk. Thanks to one of Mr. Sherlock Holmes' famous deductions. Sherlock Holmes. Inspector Gregson almost certainly met with Mr. Jigoku on the night of his death, because along with Prosecutor Asogi, Gregson was on a mission to assassinate the man. Which means that Seishiro Jigoku is the sole witness, who can clarify exactly what happened aboard the SS Grouse on the 31st October. Well, it would appear that it's too soon to move to adjudication at this point. The prosecution concurs. The court must hear Mr. Jigoku's testimony. No judgment should be passed until all testimony has been considered. In that case, I hereby call the end of today's proceedings. Court will reconvene at the same hour tomorrow. No objections from either side. No, my lord. No objections, my lord. We live to fight another day, by the skin of our teeth. To be continued. Alles klar! Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Save your current progress. Yes. Okay. Investigation Part 1. Okay. Gut. Ich würde sagen, das war's dann erstmal von dieser Aufnahmesession. Und in der nächsten Aufnahmesession werde ich es dann auf jeden Fall ja, zu Ende spielen, denke ich mal. Weil morgen geht es für mich tatsächlich schon wieder in Urlaub. Das ist eine ähnliche Situation wie im ersten Spiel, als wir den letzten Fall hatten. Aber ich denke mal, wir sind hier schon näher an einer Conclusion dran, als wir im ersten Fall waren. Deswegen bin ich zuversichtlich, dass ich das noch durchbekomme. Und wenn es um 4 Uhr nachts ist. Gut. Ich bedanke mich fürs Zuschauen. Ich bedanke mich fürs Dabeisein. Es sind sehr interessante Turns, die hier sind. Jigoku lebt also doch noch, wovon ich auch ausgegangen wäre. Und er behauptet, er ist einfach geflüchtet, weil er vom Reaper flüchten wollte, als er gehört hat, dass das Symposium ausfällt. Ob das die Wahrheit ist oder ob da noch mehr dahinter steckt, werden wir dann in der nächsten Episode erfahren, in den nächsten Parts. Und ja, ich bedanke mich fürs Zuschauen, ich bedanke mich fürs Dabeisein. Das war eine sehr coole, ein sehr cooler Dance of Deduction von Sherlock Holmes und Eugene Mikotoba. Übrigens, ich habe gelesen, dass Eugene auf Japanisch Freund heißt. Ich bin mir nicht sicher, ich bin kein Japanisch-Quack, ne? Ich habe keine Ahnung über Japanisch. Aber wenn das stimmt, dann hätte man das vielleicht sogar schon voraussehen können, dass Eugene ein Freund ist und deswegen vielleicht der Partner von Sherlock Holmes. Aber ich weiß es nicht. Für mich kam der Twist unerwartet und ich denke mal, für die meisten war der Twist unerwartet. Gut, aber ich will jetzt nicht lange rumreden. Der Part geht schon wieder 40 Minuten. Schon wieder viel zu lang. Aber egal. Ich bedanke mich fürs Zuschauen. Ich bedanke mich fürs dabei sein. Und das nächste Mal sehen wir dann wahrscheinlich das Finale in der nächsten Session. Gut, danke. Und ja, Tüdelü und so und Einspruch. Aufnahme beenden. Bis bald. Tschüss.